Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. And so has porn star and content creator Joel Someone, recent LA transplant.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good, thank you.
Do you remember that time I called you out of the blue and you helped me get somebody off?
I did. He was one of my OnlyFans fans, and I guess I wasn't giving him nearly enough attention because he went to you to be like, get Joel Someone on the phone.
No, you know what happened was I was just talking to him, and he likes dirty words. He likes talking dirty. And he said he was putting together this scene. And I was like, I wonder if I can contact Joel right now and see what he's doing. And I was like, hey, what's up? And you were like, not much. And I was like, do you want to jump on this call real quick? And he was surprised that you were able to do it. I don't know Manuel Sky like that. Well, funny enough, I know him personally. I met him once personally in Montreal through a friend of mine because he was a huge Madonna fan at the time. And so was Manuel. And it was before he was in porn. And I saw him again in Vegas after he's in porn. And, he's kind of a big deal. I've never worked with him yet. We've talked about it, but what are you going to do? That's for another podcast.
Well, no, it was very, very funny that you say that, like, you're like, ooh, he's got he's good with words and stuff. And I definitely use a lot of rhetoric that's odd in porn. Like stick it up my guts.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right.
I say dude a lot, and it's funny.
Or you go, fuck, man.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, there are times where I have to take my headphones off while editing because it might be a little too loud, so I have to turn it down a little bit beforehand, but all good. People fucking love that shit.
Well, and that's an excellent example of it, is somebody who's like, I need to get Joel Someone in the story.
Yeah.
He'll say weird, funny shit that makes me laugh and calm.
But I love the fact that he was like, you were his dream scene with Manuel Sky, and we were able to kind of get it going. That was really, really cool. So how have you been?
So it's funny that you said that, because during the pandemic, when I wasn't doing sex work, I was actually doing phone sex.
Really?
Yes. Okay. That became one of my services.
Where?
$50 for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Where? What 1-900 number?
No, I just put it in all of my kind of like my profiles and stuff, is that it's a service I offer, and like, you can do phone sex with me, and that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And it was old school too. It was full on, just kind of like, people kept wanting me to do like webcams. I'm like, no, we're gonna do phone sex. We're doing dirty talking.
If you don't call me on a touch dial phone, I'm not interested.
I need a rotary phone dialer.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. This is Joel Someone. Let's get you an erection.
Oh, when you say it like that, I don't know if it can.
Murray Hill 51612.
Come here, knucklehead. So you were for the pandemic. Just I know we're near the end of it, but the beginning was kind of tough shit, and I haven't seen you since.
And that's when I moved to LA.
Okay, so you've been in LA.
Yeah, I've been in LA this whole time. When I had come off of a really, really good amount of filming, a good amount of work. I just started my OnlyFans. Pandemic hit. Boyfriend had just moved to Los Angeles from Italy, and I wanted to be with him. We would go 6-month periods where he was in Italy, and I would go to Italy once a month. I'd shot with a bunch of European studios, a lot of porn in Spain, and it was awesome. We were really able to make our kind of long distance relationship work well. And then when the pandemic hit, he came home, and I went to LA to see him, and I just stayed there. I stayed there for 6 months, and I didn't go back to my apartment. I paid for my apartment and then cleared out my apartment. But I was glad I had a savings. I was glad I was able to do all that stuff because it saved my ass. And phone sex helped as well.
Yeah. What about I've seen you everywhere.
It's funny because I never had trolls. I was always kind of sad. I won't lie. Please, if you want to troll someone, come for me.
Also, now you have trolls.
I know now I have trolls. No, I don't. The only place I was able to find people speaking negatively about me was through like the tube sites. Like if you go deep diving on the tube sites and you like just see videos that barely have your name on it, people will comment on them.
So you mean the stolen ones?
Yeah, they don't even know me, and they're like, I love that. There was something deeply entertaining about it. And to get to your point, as someone once said, this scene is boring, and Joel Someone is everywhere. whomever said that, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Whomever said that, thank you.
It wasn't easy.
That was the most beautiful comment I could ever imagine. I saw it and my gut started. I put on Instagram Live immediately. The second I read that, I'm like, everybody. But I'm also not the type that people to be like no, just so you know, Joel's someone's really a really nice guy. I don't do that.
You're somebody's. Like, do you have
oh my God, that's what my fans are, my somebodies. Shut the fuck up. You would make up the fans. Just so you know, you're all referred to as somebodies now.
Somebody's, go get them.
Attack. No, I hate that. Because people then will get really upset because they like me.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even speak to it in that moment.
There are, I had seen somebody talking about the podcast. I'm not going to mention what the website is because I'm not going to give them that kind of attention.
And don't.
Yeah, but I was reading through because I was curious because I'm it's fairly new and I want to know who's listening and what they're saying. And this website, somebody's like, this guy says he's demystifying gay porn. He says he's a director. I don't know him, so I don't believe him. I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking director. Nobody knows directors sometimes, especially in porn. There's so many of them. Whatever. I was like, okay, good for him. And, I really wanted to be like, for your information, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to put on a wig or just like a woman.
Go scream in a wall, against the wall. It'll do just as much. You know what I mean?
It's just, it's interesting because I never see the people behind the scenes as the people that are meant to get the attention that a porn scene is putting together. It's all about you guys. We do have a certain amount of input into what's going on, but you guys are making it happen. So yeah, I get what you're saying with hate comments and stuff like that, but whatever.
I think most people also got wise to the fact that if you do, like, especially on a platform like Twitter, if you comment on it, you literally raise their profile from being just someone reaching out and making a comment to you to a person that you were having a conversation with, to where everyone can see it. Like, hey, look, da 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 da. And the only reason I have such a good attitude about it is because it is such a status symbol of fame. I'm like, oh my God, you hate me because I'm popular? Thank you. Oh my God. I've dreamed my whole life to be this important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So that's why I don't, and also the other thing about it too, it's very similar to people commenting how much they love you. And if, in fact, sometimes you get a lot more reaction from people if you tell them they're shit.
Oh God. And if you genuinely hate somebody, there's a little love in there too.
Oh, absolutely.
There's something going on.
They know you well enough to be like, you disappointed me, Joel. Someone like me doing bi stuff really pisses some people.
So, let's talk about bi porn.
Let's do the bi porn. Well, and you create I create this narrative of my life, my Instagram, my Twitter. I try to put as much of myself in there to where it is honest and it is me, but all the rest is filled in by what your imagination is. And before I started this industry, I was one of those people who watched, and everything in between was magic. You know what I mean? Like everything in between, they had the greatest lives, and I was not, and I hated it. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh man, and I get that. So whenever people do come for me, I also kind of humble myself and be like, you were a hater too once. You know what I mean? Yeah. Luckily shit worked out for you. Yeah. Luckily you got wise and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go for this. We're going to try. You know what I mean? Even if we don't believe it's going to work out, we're going to try it. We're going to try. You know what I mean? I definitely got into this industry not thinking I could do this. And I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a person who is doing and can, I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I try to humble myself and go back to that time where I remember where I wasn't dreaming. Some of the stuff I've done was literally my masturbatory dreams as a youth. So that's it.
Pretty fucking cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Cool. And thank you, haters.
Well, all right. So you mentioned a little bit about bi porn.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. I pivoted.
No, please don't.
I pivoted real hard.
Pivot.
Because I'm gay. I am a gay man. I am very attracted to really just about everything. Kick a hole in the wall and I'll fuck it. Just kidding. My brother just used that the other day, and I'm like, I'm stealing that from you, you fucking asshole, you funny piece of shit. But I am, and I had always wanted to have sex with a woman. I had never had sex with them. I actually lost my virginity to a girl on camera.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first scene with Jim Powers, with Brooke Hayes and Draven Navarro. That is me losing my virginity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, that was the first time I had sex with a woman.
That's kind of cool, though, too. You can say, hey,
why not?
you can see it. My defloweration.
You know what I mean?
right?
That's what real porn
Defloweration.
is. The porn is the copy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm rewriting the copy, just so you know. It wasn't about me, my car getting stuck on the side of the road and this couple picking me up and fucking them. It was Joel someone losing his virginity to a girl. And Jim Powers was there. Jim Powers has been there every time I've had sex with a girl in my entire life.
So what studio?
It's Biphoria.
Okay, bi four. Okay, I have heard of them.
Yeah, and
I love bi porn, by the way.
it is. It's one, and that's the other thing is I know I love the audience. I love the porn audience. There is something magical about people who watch and consume porn. I am such a super fan of people who watch my stuff. Like when people tell me they're like, "Oh my god, I love your work," I'm like, "Thank you so much." I'm like, "You're a nerd like me." Yeah. I'm like, you know what I mean? You get all the nuances. You like all the little details because that's what makes people come. I remember there was a video I used to watch that the guy had like a fucking tracking device on his ankle, and I remember that's what made me come. I was like, "Oh my god!" The whole narrative behind him, like he must be really struggling in his life. The poor guy. You know what I mean? He's doing this porn right now. And he's
Really struggling.
like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I hope things work out for him. He seems really nice. Who the fuck knows?
The best part of it's the idea that you are creating something and you're thinking, okay, people are going to think this is hot if I do this. And then you do it and the people watching are like, oh my God, this is fucking hot. It's such a great connection that you have.
My dick is still wet from the performer we just worked with. You know what I mean? Like we just filmed a scene.
With Levy Fox.
Levy Fox.
You guys fucked Levy Fox, you and Jake Morgan. It was awesome.
Jake Morgan's a friend of mine and I love him, but that was the first time I got to meet Levy Fox. And and I told him afterwards, I'm like, hey, I am so excited. People are going to masturbate to our sex. And I like you. Mm-hmm. I like you. And I can't wait to tell people I like you.
Yeah. You guys had amazing chemistry. Very rare that I don't have to say anything. And that was awesome. Yeah. I knew it was going to be, and it all fell into place. You happened to be in New York. He was going to be here for a couple of days. And I had just shot 2 weeks ago. So this was pretty much put together so that I can work with him. And then Jake was in town and I was like, okay, this is falling into place too perfectly. This is going to be a great scene. So I'm very happy.
So it's funny. I once again about words, I use a lot of my rhetoric from my straight brother. My straight brother is like my biggest kind of like I kind of based my porn character off of him.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's very much his rhetoric. He'd be like, yeah, my dick's still wet. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's like a real bro-y dude, and I love him. He's my best friend.
How much older than you?
He's younger.
Oh, he's younger.
He's a year. Oh, I know. I remember in high school, all the boys we knew would always talk about how much tail my brother got. Like my brother was like the guy who really got laid all the time. Yeah. And he kind of had a little bit of that machismo language. And so now like my porn character is that. Yeah. So I'm really a very gay dude. But like when I kind of become Joel someone, I become him.
Okay. That's cool. Channeling that?
Yeah. Okay. I know. And he makes me, he loves it.
So you've told him.
Oh, my whole family knows. My family knows what I do. I'm sorry. When you get to a certain point in this career, you kind of have to tell people
before they stumble upon it.
Well, and it's, you know what? My mom stumbled upon it, but not in a way you would think. Everyone has a bitter gay person that's ready to pounce. Like you pissed them off and they're like, you know what your son's doing? 7 guys in one sitting. 7 guys. 7.
Her coworker.
Bareback.
Coworker.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what happened to homegirl. Like she pissed off the wrong gay. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, ugh, fucking asshole.
So that really did happen.
That really did happen. It was a whole Magilla gorilla.
Awful. Yeah.
You know what? But at the same time, if I had told her, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't happen like that. She wouldn't have been hurt. You know what I mean? She got the truth from someone who she did not need to get the truth from. It should have been me she got the truth from. So it's a lesson. I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? Either get into this industry knowing that everything and anything you're doing is going to be seen. And I'm okay with that. I didn't really, you know what I mean? I'm like, it'll all work out, da, 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 da. And it did, and it does, and it still is, you know what I mean? Like after that, you know what? Then we had to have a conversation. So there's not right or wrong ways to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be one of those people who are like, you know what, you need to do exactly as I say, but this is my experience.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for, is your experience.
And truly, as gays, we're like experts of porn. Like, I'm sorry, there's a handful of people like, I don't watch porn, no. But you have before.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Staring directly at you as you watch this. Oh, I just watched Demystifying gay porn. I don't watch porn. Yeah. You know what
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is. But no, right? Who is this guy? Who is this person? But no, you know, I'm talking so much shit. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
But yeah, so bi porn. Oh yeah, speaking of bi porn, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's working. I'm used to working with gay dudes. Like I'm used to working with homos like you,
like me, yes.
like gay homosexuals like you. So working on straight shoots are completely different.
I can imagine.
They're completely different.
Okay, so break it down, because I grew up watching straight porn. We talked about this on our last podcast. I would love to direct straight porn. Love it. I love straight porn stars. That's basically what I use to jerk off. What's it like being on set?
All right, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Demystify straight porn for me.
Demystify. As a gay, he's a gay man who snuck in.
Yeah, you're almost like, what is that? Like you went in to do like an undercover story or something like that.
They all think I belong here.
Yeah, didn't you say something about they think that you're? Oh no, your fans.
The fans think I'm like a straight dude who gets
Okay.
Jim Powers and all the guys through the Biphoria, which is specifically the studio I work with a lot. Mm-hmm. They all are very aware. My social media presence is very. I'm not sneaking in. All right, I just personally have the imposter syndrome where I don't feel like I belong anywhere, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They know I belong there. But you know, it's interesting to work with cis females. I work with a lot of trans performers. I've been doing a lot of trans female and trans male porn, which has been really cool. I am such a fan and advocate for really anyone who's trans, because that's such a journey for them, and it's an honor that they want to work with me. So it's awesome. But working with cis females is really interesting because as like a little gay boy, we're all used to being like, I like girls, da-da. Until you have sex with girls, you're like, oh, this is different. This is different. You know what I mean? You have to kind of keep a certain energy about yourself, and you're like, all right.
Feels interesting.
I'm having sex with you.
Yeah.
And you are a sexual object to me right now. In this moment, I am sexualizing you. And that's that was a little hard at first. That was definitely the hardest part, is kind of like seeing a woman as being sexual with them.
Because you're gay.
Because I'm gay.
Okay.
And
so
you know,
you felt actually.
And I do feel like there's some built-in misogyny to gay men. Like, you know what I mean? Without us really even knowing it. You know what I mean? Sometimes, because we all grew up with gay boys that are like, vagina just smells. And it's just like, ew. Like, if I ever see one, it's just like the worst. I'm a platinum gay.
Yes, platinum gay.
Which is misogyny. Mm-hmm. And so even though I don't believe that, and even though that was rhetoric I have used when I was in high school because I was just some kid running his mouth, that's still kind of in there. That's still kind of in the, am I going to enjoy this? What is this? You know what I mean? And so losing your virginity on camera, as much as I make, it's really a very like, punch, you're in this.
What was the first taste like when you were sliding?
It was
your
amazing.
Dick in?
I love the way pussy tastes.
Did you but when you slid your dick in the first time and you felt a pussy the first time?
Well, so the first pussy I ever had was on a trans boy. Okay. And that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. And I love trans boys because they're on testosterone and the pussies taste like cum.
Really?
They do. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. FTM men, their bonus hole tastes like cum. And
really? Okay.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. And when they get really turned on for you, you can feel how wet they are. You just put your finger out there and you're just like, oh my God, you are so excited about me. Yeah. I'm excited about you too. You know what I mean? Because that was always my fear, is like, how am I going to tell this person's into me? I'm like, they don't have a rock hard penis. I can't tell what's going on like that. But that's how you tell. It's just, you go right in and you're like,
damn.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I feel your pulse. I feel like how wet you are. I'm like, and then you put your mouth on it and it just tastes so fucking good.
Damn.
It's so fucking good.
So now, when you were with this cis performer, were you looking into her eyes?
Of course.
While you were sliding?
Well, and the other thing too is like, you know, gay porn. I've done like levels of gay porn. Most of the time they don't put makeup on boys. some of the bigger studios do. They kind of fuck with that a little bit, but not that much. And straight porn, baby doll. They do her up. Like they call it pretty girl. Pretty girl. And they put so much makeup on. Like she looks like done. Like very done. Like
spray paint almost like, you know how they
and they're usually very naturally pretty. Like that's the funny thing is a lot of the girls I've met before.
Well, they gotta have that slut look too.
But they do. Like, they put like everything, and then you get it. You mess up that makeup. Like that's your job as a man. Is like you're taking that. You're
really so you smear and
you know what I mean. Make sure her mascara is running. Because that's the goal.
Is that direction? Is that what they?
No, but that's if you watch enough straight porn, you know that's what it's for.
The crying.
You know what I mean? And when she's like choking on your dick, you just see like just a little droplets of mascara and eye makeup, and it's just like it's interesting. It's very interesting. Okay. And you know, I'm also not that rough of a performer. I'm not the type of person who's like, time to suffer, woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that way. And so make me like wipe it around with like the head of my penis. I'm like, I'm gonna mess this up a little bit.
Does that say JS?
Yeah, Joel someone.
Little JS.
I look him in the eyes. Of course. I'm just as verbal, and the rhetoric gets even more laughs in those situations. Like that, like you know what I mean? My weird, dumb rhetoric
from behind the scenes, or from
all of the above. All of the above. The stupid shit Joel someone says gets like the guts. The only reason I said that is because once I started doing like straight porn, like because it's also in the straight world too. Like bi porn is in the straight world too, and straight performers don't. There's not a lot of straight performers who want to do that.
Yeah,
straight performers are like they're like nope. Oh, I am a straight performer. I will not. No, I don't do stuff.
No guys that have sex with guys.
Yes,
a lot of people.
And that's fine. There's a bunch of tops in gay porn who are like, I only top. That is it.
But this is relatively, and the reason I've always loved bi porn, or more so, like when you look up bisexual MMF, right? Because I used to love Friendly Fire. I used to love a lot of things that would like, you know how accidentally touch another man.
You've seen the blooper reels of when like guy gets jizzed on the face. And the
guy's like, cut.
Like, yeah, we all know that video. The one where the guy's like,
the camera guy.
And the guy's face is just,
that stuff.
Yeah, that would make me come too.
Well, yeah, but that stuff was always so hot, but it was always so hard to find.
Yes.
And then a lot of people started putting up on tube sites, amateurs and stuff. And I don't know if that's where this derives from, but there definitely are. Biphoria, how old is that studio now?
See, I don't know the age of that.
It's a relatively new studio.
Jim Powers has been in the game forever. Sorry, I don't mean to keep dropping his name specifically. He's sweet. I love him.
Sponsored by Jim Powers.
Thank you, Jim Powers. No, he's been in the game for a long time, and talking to him is fascinating. That's the other thing is I'm a talker. Like even if we weren't doing this, I would probably talk your ear off after the shoot. I'm like because I love the craft. I think this is the coolest job in the entire world. What you do is fucking awesome.
It is fun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Jim Powers is one of those people I'll hang out afterwards, and he's just like a goof. Like since there's lots of acting, which I love. I love getting a script. I love getting a script. Okay, so I'm such a little show off too. I'm like, I have memorized my script. And like
you're off book.
I'm off book. I am off book. These 3 pages I have done. And I have a character, so we can do nuance now. We're going to do the nuance of the character, so I have the lines down, all right? And that's not everyone's experience. So I've worked with him a bunch, and just watching him give direction to people, he's like, all right, you know what, this is what you're a prisoner. And you're coming up the hill wearing the orange jumpsuit. And you see what you're doing. You're coming up the hill wearing the orange jumpsuit. And you're going to look over at the other prisoner like, hey, man, I think this is the place. And you need to look worried. You need to look worried. You don't know where you're going right now. And just like, and meanwhile, I'm in the background. I'm like, acting coach Jim Powers.
You need to look worried.
You need to look worried.
Oh,
all right.
My God. Lucky you, man. I like I said, I would love that experience. And I'm pretty sure, you know, when I was mid-contracts, I was going to put like a whole thing up on straight porn, gay porn, any studio, just to see where I can get work. I'm pretty sure I could have done it, but Well, Treasure Island came in.
So the one thing I would say is working with girls are boss bitches.
Okay.
They also do not deal with the same shit that little gay boys do.
Well, yes.
Little gay boys will come to you and be like, let me film my first porn. You're like, all right, let's get it done. Girls are like, I have a contract to send to you, which so respect. You know what I mean? Because it's the kind of thing that like we've talked a little bit about the other little details and stuff like that too. But women are very, very on top. Like I've noticed with the women I've worked with they're business ladies.
Well, when 2007, when I first started working with Dark Alley, they were producing straight porn as well. But I remember it was very minimal, very, very short time. They just wanted to see if they can dabble in it. And like most gay people, dabble with women. But one of the things that was a big deal was sexual harassment on set. Like it can still happen, and it can literally be a camera guy at the craft service table staring at a pair of tits too long.
Yep.
That made somebody feel uncomfortable.
And that's the other thing you notice very quickly about shoots is you as a performer and your other performer is it. And you have to like make a connection with that person. You're not going to be able to go below the craft services guy kind of thing, because they make it, well, first of all, because the craft service guy is straight. Like I've been being on these shoots with straight dudes. I definitely lust over them a little bit. I won't lie. I try not to get too into it because I'm like, oh, this is so hot. I'm having sex in front of straight dudes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially since the bi stuff, I'll let them put it in a guy's butt. I'm like, you know what I mean? But it's true. And so that's like the first thing that's hard when you work with straight directors and stuff is, I know you're gay, and you and I have never hooked up or anything like that. But there's friendship in gay sex. You know what I mean? When gay men have sex with each other, there's a certain level of like fraternity.
Well, you know what I mean? You have to get to know a certain amount of, okay, well, he likes this, or, you know, he likes when I do this.
And straight guys can get that way too. Well, there's definitely sexual fraternity among straight men, but it's different. It's like, yeah, this girl's giving it up. You know what I mean? And it's like high five, but not too much high five. You've high fived me twice. No homo. No homo. No homo. All right.
Yeah, that's enough. Dude.
If we're doing double penetration, just please don't let it touch mine as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right? I know we're both in the same hole, but please. Right. Crazy. We need to talk about this beforehand, all right, before this all happens, because we're going to be in the moment.
There are some straight performers, male performers, that don't work with, or I've noticed don't work with other men up until a certain point. And then you have a lot of European male performers who are like, yeah, fucking, it fell out, put it back in for me. It's very, very interesting.
And I've met those types too that are very, very comfortable with it. And I've been doing cuck scenes as well.
Yes, I did see you were in a cuck scene, and I remember thinking, oh my God, is that just someone?
You know, I love Dale Savage. Dale Savage is one of those people who really inspired me to do cuck stuff because I love him. I love Dale Savage because he's just he's such a charming man. He's like the Jimmy Stewart of porn. He's like the sexy everyman. You know what I mean? He's really such a handsome guy, and he's got such strong, beautiful features. Yeah. But at the same time, he's like, hey, everybody, I'm doing porn. And I love that. He's one of those people I always admired, and watching his cuck scenes crack me up because they're always like, my trans stepdaughter gets fucked, kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? Like that'll be the title of it, and all the photography is like, oh no, what's happening
again?
6 dicks? Oh, and they're so good. And I've in those, and since there is lots of like principal photography, I've gotten to be in those scenes where like your wife's getting banged up by 2 inmates, and I'm like, oh no, oh no.
I have seen that. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Because now, you know, I do look for bi porn, and cuck scenes have always been something that's very interesting, especially if it's bi, because they put the person's face right up on the fucking or under the dick while it's fucking the pussy and clean it up, you know, shit like that. That's kind of hot. That's really, really hot to me, because I'm like, okay, this straight guy is letting this guy, taste his cum or taste that pussy after he's fucked it. And I don't know. I love it. It's like the best of both worlds.
It is. And on the days when, and you know, also I don't have to worry about an erection sometimes. Like sometimes they're just like, no, you're going to be dressed the whole time.
Yeah.
You're going to be dressed. You're going to be in a nice suit. And you just came from a funeral. Actual scene, by the way. And there's a certain slumberness to you And yeah, to make sure there's betrayal in there as well. You know what I mean? Just like little things right there. We're going to do the B-roll of you yelling, looking for your wife, and she's going to come in with another man. And it was a really sad funeral. She shouldn't have left early. Actual scene, by the way.
Jesus, that sounds amazing.
I know, right? Everyone's going to
Let me ask you a question about stimulant use in the straight world. I'm assuming they are unofficially sponsored by Pfizer and other pharmaceuticals
and like
as well.
Viagra is one that gets used a lot in all porn kind of thing. And I admit I use Viagra every once in a while because I have a subscription. I have a subscription to Viagra. Yeah. It's easy. It's easy enough to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It definitely is a subscription. I don't know if I prescribe to it at all, but I try not too much to use it because it's the kind of thing that, like, with people like you and I are friends. You know what I mean? It's so low pressure.
Yeah.
And I made a couple jokes on set today where I'm like, you know what? It's not a problem. Like, it's so low stakes. This is a very low stakes shoot.
It's just like, you know why? Because I've been on sets where people have yelled at people, where you're not doing this. This isn't a silent movie, blah, blah, blah. The last thing you want to do while there's other people on set is make these people uncomfortable.
Because it's going to be over. Just so you know, the second you do that, say goodbye. Yeah. Because you know what I mean?
Done.
You know what I mean? That person's not going to get hard. And the other thing, which as a person who's worked camera before, that camera just saw everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fourth wall is not a kind one. People are learning that with reality TV. Yeah. They're like, that's why I love reality TV, is I'm like, oh, you said that. I know you said that. I guess you didn't mean it that way, but you said it, kind of thing like that. And it's not that hard to manipulate.
Oh no, yeah.
You definitely can, but it's not that hard because you did say it. But the same could be said about porn in the sense that the cameraman is the wall is the third person in that argument. He is literally the furniture. And they get to have a perspective. Right. And that's just the nature of life in general.
Well, the perspective that we're offering is the perspective of the viewer, which is why angles and certain things, if you don't see it, that means they're not going to see it.
Exactly.
So, I've seen some people on OnlyFans and I've seen some people on their fan sites and stuff where you can pick up a camera and shoot porn, and that's good for you, but it's not technically porn. You're not seeing any dick going in the ass. You're not seeing any, there's a certain finesse or kind of.
By the way, if you get to this point of the interview, people, and you've listened this far, DM me and I will send you a Dropbox link to some free porn of mine. All right. Yeah. Just so you know, I'm giving you guys an Easter egg. This is the little hidden dealie in there. I will send you a free one of my pornos if you DM me at this point. All right.
So stimulants are also used on set.
They are, and it's hard because I don't like talk because that's the part that's hard to talk about. People is like things like Trimix and Viagra and stuff, because that's the part that could seem really scary, especially for people who, when you first get into the industry, there's certain things that you get a crash course on. And there are certain studios that teach you them very quickly, whether you like it or not. I've worked with 30 different websites,
what I mean? Kind of just, hey, you have to do this. And that's
yes. And that's kind of, I'm a grown ass man, you know what I mean? And I learned these lessons. That's the hard thing about like 19 and 20-year-olds being in this, is you're a sweet guy and you understand what people's limits are and people's comfort. And you're also very patient. Some studios aren't patient, you know what I mean? And they know the way to fix this quickly.
Yes.
And that's I get that. So that's kind of the thing with like stimulants and whatnot. I don't push stimulants on people. If someone's having a hard time, you watched me on set. Not that someone had a hard time, but just like, hey, you need a hard on? And I tell people, I'm like, I will do whatever you need me to do.
Which is always awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Please feel comfortable. And if it's monotonous and you just want me to suck on your balls and look away from you, can do that. If you need me to talk to you, if there's things you like, whatever it is, I'm not weirded out.
Yeah, we always have stimulants on set. And now it's Roman. Roman's something that we've been using on set, and it's less milligrams. Everything that we do give the models, except for Trimax, I have tried just so I know exactly when it hits, what happens, how they feel, just in case I have somebody that's never had one before.
I was going to say.
Yeah, we try to stay away from doing it, but sometimes, yeah, some people walk in and they already have it in their system, which is awesome because they've administered it themselves. Or yeah, it's always there. But
I also don't like to out performers who use it, just because I remember I was very anti-trimix when I first got into this. Like, I remember as an escort, I worked with a really famous performer who used it in our session, and I remember feeling really weird, like feeling really uncomfortable and being like, oh, he's not attracted to me. I had to put a needle in his dick. And now that I've been in the industry for like however long, it's not something that like hurts I don't take it personally, kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's their journey in this. And a lot of performers are like, I'm 48. I'm like, you know what I mean? He's like, that's cute with your 34-year-old boner right there. That's cute. You're adorable. Yeah. Thank you so much. Wait until you've been in the industry 25 years like me.
Yeah, but
and that's fair. That's not me judging them, kind of thing like that. But that's what you're going to get when you do judge them. Like if you don't come correct with what you need to say, and you lay down a little bit of judgment, they're like, all right, little boy.
Yeah, I also don't pass judgment. Whatever is going to get you hard. What I'm looking for is a hard dick going into an ass and coming.
Yeah, just don't choke me while you do it, please. Don't.
Yes, after a certain amount of time in the industry, you are going to have after a certain amount of time having sex, I feel like, like when you're younger, it's like, fuck yeah.
Dude, being gay, you get a crash course. No, fuck it. Fuck being a porn star. Being a gay person using an app, you will deal with a tweaker once in your life. You will go into a hoarder's house. You know what I mean? There are just things you're going to deal with.
You'll feel like you're in danger at one point.
You are going to date, girl, you're in danger.
Yeah. Bali.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing that's really interesting about this. And I think one of the reasons people really connect to some porn like mine is you do have to have a certain level of fearlessness to it. You know what I mean? And the whole kind of phenomenon of bareback sex, that wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? There used to be a time where you only saw condoms in porn. And now you can't even remember the last time you saw one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. I feel like gay people, since we didn't have a generation of people to teach us the right way of things, our inheritance into this has been kind of like, you don't know what you didn't have. And so we got to grow up with scared parents teaching us about like sex being dirty and scary, even the best intentioned parents. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And so I think a lot of this is kind of like learning curve. And I think the porn that's coming out nowadays is really, I think better. I think it's better. I think it's one of those kind of places where it shows it's more honest. Sometimes I think being able to see some performers and being able to look into their own bedrooms through like their OnlyFans, I think kind of creates a different story. It's hard because we're all such social media monsters.
Oh my God, it's awful. One of the things that I don't enjoy about the fan sites, I don't care that they're doing their own thing outside of the studio, because I've always been a fervent supporter of the models. And I've seen and have been a part of models getting screwed in more ways than one, but contract wise, release wise, all this stuff. Know what you're walking into when you walk into it. Know that you want to do it. Never personally have I taken advantage of somebody when it comes to a scene. There is at the last place I was, you can kind of your rate was always something that you can talk about. So it was up on you if you were like, well, no, I think I deserve more. And then you negotiate. But I do not like the idea that now it's basically like the Truman Show. Every single person has a camera on at all times, and one day your shower should just be your fucking shower. I don't need to see you taking a shower all the time.
But the one thing that is true about that too, audiences get bored. They get bored. You know what I mean? You can only keep their attention for so long. And that's where you see burnout in some of these people who really didn't have anything to offer to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, cool, you're beautiful. You got nothing else. You can't do studio stuff because the one time you did a studio thing, it was a bad instance and stuff, like, you know, they're not versatile characters. You meet these people who are very much kind of like single performers, and all of a sudden you start to see weird stuff of them with people together. And, you know, I feel for them. You know what I mean? Like I'm really honored to be a versatile performer. I go into each kind of place I go into with a good clear head and say, you know what, this is going to be a challenge. Like filming my first bi porn was hard.
I can only imagine.
It was scary.
Yeah.
And keeping my cool was the best part of it. I was so honored about how I carried myself, because when I said afterwards, this was my first time with a girl, Jim was like, what? Like, he couldn't fucking believe it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't throw a fit because I was scared. I didn't throw a fit because I lost my erection. I didn't, you know what I mean? I asked my performers to help me, and they did. You know what I mean? And that's really the truth about porn, is you have to have a lot of trust in the performers you work with. I try not to put any walls down or tell people things that I am not into. I am not into drugs. That's a big one for me. Not that I don't...
or poppers.
I really don't like poppers. Well, you know, I take Viagra every once in a while, and poppers and Viagra are not a safe mix. You know, and that's just me saying this. I'm like, hey...
It's the truth.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the kind of thing that I appreciate that you need this. What I will do is I'll go slow. But with drugs and stuff like that, it's not that I don't trust you as a person. I just don't trust the headspace you're in right now.
Yeah.
Your headspace is in a different place right now. And what's comfortable and safe for you might not be the same for me. And that's just the truth. That's not me saying what you're doing is right or wrong. It's just you have the ability to hurt me and not know it. You know what I mean? Not that you don't care. You just don't know. So that's my big thing with like drugs. I try really hard not to take clients that way. Yeah. Because, you know, in those situations, just like I said, gay boys have, you all learn through this weird like learning curve of Grindr. Of like, I want to lose my virginity when I'm 18. I'm going to put it on Grindr. Da, da, da. You don't know what you're going to get. And it's the kind of thing that you're going to get lessons from people that are kind of strangers and whatnot. And so that's why I like porn and stuff, is because we're people speaking out about our sexuality, and that's so taboo. Yeah. Like, one of the reasons I think porn is so interesting is how powerful it is to people and don't even realize it.
Oh my God, yeah.
There are people in my life who can't follow me, but somehow watch me every day. And that's interesting. Yeah. And I'm not judging them. I'm not saying, oh, well, just so you know, your grandma needs to know. All right. I know your family Twitter is your family Twitter. Da, da, da. No, I get it. It just doesn't pump up my fame muscle. I don't get to be like fucking Channing Tatum or something like that. You know what I mean? In the sense that you can follow that person. I'm a little bit of a dirty secret sometimes. And I remember Cutler X had me as his cameraman through Europe twice, like, which was so much fun. Being Cutler X's cameraman was the coolest. I love it. Yeah. He's my dad. He's my porn dad.
He's cool. I haven't worked with him in a long time, but he has his own site now.
In the house of someone, Cutler X is my father, by the way.
Oh,
yes, I love them.
You're in the den.
I'm in the den. I'm in the den. Yeah. And actually, 2 of the scenes I filmed were nominated for GayVN Awards. Oh, cool. I do good work.
Yeah, no, you do.
Needless to say. But anyway, traveling with him was fascinating because I would see random dudes. Like, I remember we were just in bikinis out in front of we were working at a store that had like an opening in there that had a couple porn stars out in front. And I remember a guy with 2 kids walked by and he's like, "You're Cutler X. Nice to meet you." Not going deep into the like, I watch you fuck holes, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, there was clearly this person that like couldn't even help himself. He's like, you know what? It's nice to fucking meet you. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of, and he walked, and he didn't stay too long with his kids. He got the fuck out of it. Daddy? He got the fuck. He's like, I don't know this man, but you know what? He's a man of honor. What he does is relevant.
Like a good guy.
He's a good guy. You know what I mean? And that's incredible to me. So I see that as being kind of like an audience of people who can't put into the open. They can't go on social media and shout your praises because, you know, they're still working through why they like you. You know, like, why do I love watching his giant cock?
And some people will never get there, and that's fine.
Totally fine. Yeah. Totally fine. I have gotten there.
Yeah.
I've had to break down my fetishes. Like, I've had to break down, and a lot of people say that ruins them for you. Like, no, I no longer have fun choking myself once I've done this. Like, you know, it's just once I went to therapy about why I was choking myself, it just got really boring.
You know, I've gotten to the point too, my boyfriend has a foot fetish. I need to know what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, so that way I know, are we having anal tonight? Are we going to just fuck around, have oral sex and jerk off? Or are we going to do foot play? Because I got to get into the headspace of that, you know, like stomping and all that, like you're nothing, and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I can't do both at the same time.
You're learning what it's to be a married couple too, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the funny thing is all these little heterosexual lessons that we learn as gay people too. I tried to be very heteronormative before I started doing porn, where I felt like I felt like a very token role as a gay person before I started doing porn, in the sense that I wanted to be kind of like those Muppet gays where it's like, we're really bitchy and don't have sex because that is dirty. You know what I mean? Truly,
the floppy gays.
The floppy gays, like, you know what I mean? Like Modern Family gays, like, like, you know, like Family Guy gays. Like, I felt like that was like the role I needed to have to be like a safe gay and not sexual. But now it's like a sexual being. Me and my partner are completely open because we're both performers. We're both sex workers. And we have so many different places in our relationship. You know what I mean? He's my best friend. He's my best fucking friend. He can ask me for fucking anything. No fucking problem. You know what I mean? And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And like, we have an amazing friendship, and then we build the rest from there.
Well, see, we were, I was just in bed yesterday, high, with my boyfriend. And I turned to him and I said, I absolutely enjoy every single minute I spent with him. And we do, because we've been quarantined for a long time, but we've never, like, we bicker like in a fun way in front of people, just like, you know, like just little things, because that's our personality. I would never degrade him or yell at him in front of people. And we have some friends that do that. And I'm like, that kind of sucks. Like, why would you want to bring that up now here? Like, but then there are people and their personalities who enjoy a certain kind of drama or shared experience, let's say, in front of their friends.
You know, and also, you know, I try to speak to the only experiences I know. I went through relationships where I wasn't honest with people. You know what I mean? Fundamentally, day one, I came in a place that was not as honest. And by the way, if this gets put out, Josh Garcia, I'm really sorry. Because you know what? He was a person that I was in a relationship for 5 years, and I didn't really give him my full self. You know what I mean? I didn't trust him, and the results showed. And that's my bad. That was on me.
Didn't trust him with...
You know, just in general. Like, didn't trust him with my sexuality. I didn't trust him to
with
really...
your stuff.
Just be me. Yeah, you know what I mean? I was holding a lot back. And you know what? It showed in us bickering. It showed in us having a tumultuous, not honest relationship.
Well, do you think that he would have been open to certain things if you had showed it to him? I know it's a what it would have,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the woulda, shouldas on that are... It's a relationship that doesn't exist anymore. I apologize for it, because you know what I mean? I didn't want him to feel like he lost time or anything. I don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, when you're kind of like, and that's one of the reasons I started being really honest with myself and doing this job, is because it was something I always wanted to do, but didn't even have the nerve to say out loud. You know what I mean? Not even to someone like that who was a partner of mine. He didn't know this. He didn't know this side of Joel someone. He didn't know this creature that came out and was just ravenously sexual. He didn't know any of that. And it showed. It showed in the life we had, and it showed in the kind of like production of the imitation of life I put on. And people get wise to that. It's just like an audience. They can tell when you're not genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it breaks their heart.
Yeah.
So I as much as I want to say people bickering and fighting in public is terrible, I was that once. You know what I mean? Because I was not being honest. I was not putting out there what I needed to. And it was just blowing up in my face, and I didn't care at that point.
All right. Well, thank you for putting that perspective.
You know what I mean? And I try so hard, like, even with my trolls and stuff like that, I don't want to say anything anyone is doing is necessarily wrong, because when you read these comments, they feel like they're it. And, you know, they have a little bit of like...
It gives it to them. It gives them their...
I put people who commentate on drag queens and people who commentate on porn stars on the exact same plane. Like, they are the exact same to me. You know what I mean? Like, because they've got their little isms and where in person they might not read as cunty kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? I'm saying cunty. But just truly, like, in person they might not read as obnoxious because there's a person attached to it. And they feel like, and there's a certain level of creativity to them. Like, I don't want to kill anyone's outlets. I don't want to kill anyone's creative outlets, even though including the fact that it's kind of like a diminishing thing about me. I'm like, whatever. You don't know me.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? You don't know me. How can I take what you say? Anything? You don't know me. I don't know you. I don't know your life. I don't know anything about you.
And with all that, if you take the good, you have to take all the other stuff.
You do. Me getting to fly around the world and have Color X as my porn dad. That's what you get. All right. You know what? Yeah, I am having too good of a life. Slow down, Joel, someone. You're still shit.
What do you want to do now? What do you want to do? I've been from here. You said something about street porn.
Street porn. Well, I've been doing
street porn.
I will never be above porn. I will never say that I'm like, no, but I've been getting better and better photo shoots. I've been getting better and better gigs here and there and the other. Like I got to work with Fab Scout Howard, who's a sweetheart. Oh my God, I love Fab Scout Howard. He's such a mensch. He is one of those people that he really is. He's very much a kingpin, a porn kingpin. And I got to go to Fort Lauderdale and work with him, and he was really cool. But he's like the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, truly.
Oh yeah.
Every little bit of the business he's in, and I love that. And he got me on this gig called the Penis Talk Show. And I got to go on, and it was a talk show where 3 dudes sat there with their dicks out and their faces covered, and they had a conversation. And
I think I saw this on Instagram. I may have seen a picture or something.
But it was fun. It was fun. It was me showing my sexuality and my personality together. I've been getting people sending me scripts for indie movies and stuff like that. And I'm never, it's an indie movie. It's fun. It's just a fun little role. If I'm able to learn a 3-page fucking script about me watching my stepdaughter get railed. Oh yeah, I got this. But I think that's fun. Yeah, I think that's super, super fun. I like that element of kind of like human interaction, and I kind of like now that I'm a little bit of a token porn actor. I'm porn color commentary, which I'm like, that's awesome. Right.
Yeah, that's cool. You're like, if we were CNN, you'd be one of the commentators.
I would be a box on Hollywood Square.
Yes, this is true.
It's indie porn actor.
You want to wait for that until like afterwards.
I know
that's 20 years after your career. That's the Hollywood Square.
But no, actually, it's not. That's the funny thing about like the porn industry is like you get what you get kind of thing.
You
like
can do
that.
It at
We're
the same
already
time.
like C-level movie actors. You know what I mean? Like that's we never were in the A-list. I'm sorry. First of all, let's humble all you motherfuckers. All right, you know what? Anyone who's doing hardcore porn and like the real high level thing, I'm like, you are still a C-level actor.
Oh God, you know what's funny? Funny you say that.
Sorry about that.
Now get this, ready? The porn, you call them C-level. Now think of bareback porn before bareback porn was even.
Oh yeah, you were even. My father told me a really great story when I was a kid. He was an ER nurse for a long time, and he remembers this one time about a huffer coming in, and his nose hairs were gilded red, and like he had been huffing paint the whole time. And he sat him in the lobby, and they're like, no, because he was on the lower list of importance in the ER, and he's there for a couple hours just hanging out, and then like another guy comes in with gold nose hairs, and he sits, and he's another huffer, and he's sitting next to him, and my father overhears them talking, and the guy with the gold nose hairs is like, what are you doing with your life, dude? The metallic spray paint gets you way higher. Like, way higher. It's like you're fucking around. Like, you don't take this seriously. And it always reminds me that there's always someone who thinks you're shit. There's always going to be someone whose nose hairs are gold. And they're calling you out on fucking not being able to afford fucking metallic spray paint. You know what I mean? Like, fuck so hard off.
Well, no. Well, I am, if anything, gratified or at a point where when Dark Alley and Treasure Island were doing this in 2000s and stuff, when bareback porn was still, now, as we mentioned earlier in our conversation, everybody's doing it.
Yep.
You don't have to put bareback in any title. Everybody kind of just knows you're
kind of
self-explanatory. Yeah. But I've seen many a model start with us and then eventually go up and no longer talk to us. But when they come down and talk to us again. Oh. And it happens a lot more than not. So that's always very interesting to see.
Because I haven't shot with you in a year. Is this like a reference?
Oh, God, no. Are you kidding me? I love you. And you're phenomenal. Like, there are certain performers where, like, even sometimes Max will be like, oh, didn't you use them enough? And I'm like, listen, this person's amazing. They come, they get hard, no problems. We get our scene and we're good.
We were done in under an hour.
Yeah, I know. And I have plenty of footage.
Oh, I know. I know you. I was there. I was there. I made sure you got the shot.
Yeah,
when we did that DP, I'm like, no, you were getting the physical DP.
Yeah.
This isn't the us laying next to each other pretending like two dicks are in you. Yeah. There's two dicks in him, and you're gonna see them.
It was laborious, and you guys did it, and it worked. So yeah, no, I absolutely I enjoy working with you every single time that I get, and I hope that we expand it into other projects.
Yeah, I miss being a New Yorker for that reason.
Where do people go when they want to find you?
Oh my! Because as I said before, Joel Someone is everywhere.
Joel Someone is everywhere.
I have an OnlyFans and a Just for Fans. I try to post once a week. As everybody's like, it's been a week and a half, buddy.
Once a week is awesome. That's
you know
good.
What I mean?
That's a
but
good
I do make I make porn that I edit well. I try really hard to create as close to studio quality because if I can't come to it, why the fuck am I gonna put it up for you? You know what I mean? I'm not that type who puts up crap.
Good.
I can't.
If you post more than once a week, I feel like you're not giving it
and
enough
that's
attention.
fine. And that's fine. There are people that you want to watch them eat cereal and take a dump. I'm fine. That's, you know what? That's your life. That's your experience. That's not mine. Well, when you come see me, I'm like, you get the, okay, everybody, we're having sex today. Yeah. Here's a butthole.
Look at that.
Check it out. It's awesome. So I'm on Just for Fans as Joel Someone 1. I'm on OnlyFans as just Joel Someone, JoelSomeone. I'm on Twitter. I have a new Twitter. I got kicked off Twitter. I don't know how I got kicked off Twitter. Talk to Twitter. I have my
build it back up. It'll happen.
Thank you, man. I'm just praying. It's Joel Someone 1, JoelSomeone 1. And then on Instagram, I'm Joel Someone Tramp. And that's probably the most appropriate place to find me. Like, if you are one of those people who's afraid to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm just a regular thirst trap like anybody else. All right. My stuff's way appropriate seeming.
Highly appropriate, highly glamorized, highly beautiful.
Thank
so many
you.
great photos.
Thank you. And that's the other thing. And just like you said, you do the porn industry to pay for everything else. I do porn because it gives me the ability to work with artists. I get people offering photo shoots to me, and I'm not.
That's awesome.
That's the kind of thing. Before this, also as a person who is an artist, I'm like, that's a $300 photo session that you're offering me for free.
And you get to keep the pictures,
right?
too.
And all of a sudden, I have all this beautiful photography to pump my ass up. Thank you, thank you. I'll be there, and I'll be there on time.
Yeah.
You rented a studio space. Thank you. Yeah, no. That's one of the reasons I love doing this is I get to meet amazing artists like yourself.
Oh, thank you. Shit.
Are we done?
Yeah, no, we are. Let me quickly. I gotta tell people. Demystifying gay porn. You know where to find us. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. What else do we do? Every single podcast directory now, which is kind of cool.
So you're on iTunes as well.
iTunes.
Oh, cool.
Apple. I think Pandora. Now we're on Spotify. All the big ones. Hosted. There's a website coming soon. Season 2 is almost wrapped up, and season 3 will be very shortly after. And I kind of want to get a little more interactive with people.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But wherever you do go, please click the like button, click the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that fun stuff. Please. Yeah, and leave comments, be it good or bad. I absolutely appreciate them.
Thank you. Yeah, no. I'm the same way. I'm like, if you didn't like it, tell me you don't like it.
Yeah, there's some people that are like, oh, great, the audio is bad again, and I'm like, you know what? I tried, you asshole. But certain things like that, absolutely appreciate it. Did you see the new board?
It's beautiful.
Isn't it crazy?
This is a setup. This is definitely like a podcast setup.
So you guys can see the board. I've absolutely every like extra shilling or penny that I could put towards the podcast, I've been able to do it.
That's just artists in general. Like, one of the, if your art has stayed the same for like a year, that's cool. But there is something to be said about learning what you do. And I think that could be said about my porn journey. You know what I mean? all those tools can be there to help you if you want them to. If you want to snob out and say, "Oh, I don't do that. I'm not into that," that's you're just limiting yourself. So no, I respect a person who's able to
and it's just going to get better. I'm not going anywhere.
You stepped your
and
pussy up.
neither are you. Joel Someone, thank you so much again for being on the show. Guys, you know where to find him, and you know where to find us. My name is Ike Grande. I'm the host for Demystifying Gay Porn, and if you've watched gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.
Thank
Cheers.
you.